I'm here chatting with Voix, who's in Leeds at the moment. So what are you doing in Leeds?
Well, I've just done my tour show at the Leeds City Varieties last night, which was amazing. I love that theatre. So
it's beautiful.
Old and fabulous and beautiful. Yeah, the history of it is stunning.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky on this tour to get to play some amazing theatres. And it's just so nice to be back in a theatre with a live audience and my live band. And, we're just having such a dream on this tour. We really are.
Yeah, for anyone that's not seen the show then, what can they expect from it?
Oh, well, there's obviously my live band on stage with me that tour all around. So it's live music, it's a mixture of stand-up comedy, some amazing costumes, and music from everyone, from Tina Turner to Celine Dion to Judy Garland to Whitney Houston to, oh my gosh, you name it, everyone is in there. You will be up singing and dancing and laughing with tears down your face all night long. It's just bringing back good variety entertainment, and that's what we're so proud to do.
Brilliant, which, to be fair, at the moment, is what everyone needs, isn't it?
Oh,
really?
Isn't it just? I can't tell you. And when you're in the theatres, the audiences are so just appreciative of being with the live arts, and I think everyone's just had such the best night when you're in the theatres. If you haven't been to a theatre yet, it is such the time to go back. It's like a resurgence of theatre.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For you, what was it like getting back on stage?
Well, from doing my resistance bands with Joe Wicks on a morning eating Pop-Tarts to walks every hour around the random parks. It was a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest. But it's been a dream just to get back out there and, and just to be doing my comedy and doing my singing and wearing all my costumes again.
Yeah.
And just hearing the music played live. It's just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, what's the last 18 months been like? How have you kind of kept yourself busy?
Oh my gosh. Well, from Zoom calls to cooking with Rosemary Schrager to doing a Instagram show with Laura Hamilton for Place in the Sun to, it's just been anything and everything, calling on all my celebrity friends. Of course, they all rely on me to keep their work going. It's just been never ending of just, I've never been thrown into so much dodgy backdrops and Zoom calls in my life.
Yep.
But it's been really hard to keep going, but I've also enjoyed it. I've done some bonkers things in the lockdown, but I think we all did, didn't we? Really, we all clung on to sanity as much as we could.
Oh no, we gave up on sanity. We gave up on sanity. We haven't sanity probably about the third week in. So, have there been any disasters then? Any Zoom disasters?
Lockdown?
Yeah.
Well, no, not really. I've kept myself together, really. I've had no massive traumas. I'm all very organised for Christmas. I've got all my presents wrapped.
Brilliant.
I'm a little bit worried because one of them's a puppy, but I think it'll be all right. We'll get through that. But no, it's all been fine. The show it's been a nice time to write a new show and and get all the new songs learned and all that stuff, because I'm not one at learning the lyrics to my songs. I'm called Voix, not the lyric, and it's always been a problem for me. So I actually feel like I know the songs I'm singing, which has been a first.
Brilliant.
I've seen before, and it's been lovely just to talk about. We talk about everything in the show, from the rise of veganism to we touch on the pandemic, but not too much. We're all sick about hearing it, aren't we? Really?
Absolutely.
And we've been talking all sorts of amazing things. So I'm excited for anyone who gets a ticket to come. It will be the hottest ticket in your town, I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Just on that note, we've talked over the last couple of weeks. We've talked to musicians, we've talked to magicians, we've talked to comedians. What in terms of how their works kind of translated to the online world over the last 12, 18 months. What about your show? Did you do anything over the last 18 months in terms of Zoom gigs or however you want to put it?
Yes, loads of them. And I loved the fact that, you could be glamorous from the waist up and then just, wearing nothing from not nothing. That's not a Zoom call. But, and I liked, for me, that was an amazing, excuse just to be able to do a Zoom show whilst wearing slippers was a dream. But no, I adored. It was really strange at the beginning to not have that applause and the laughter that you normally get from a live audience. But it was amazing how you got used to that quite quickly and you adapted to comedy online and all that stuff. And it really helps with my BBC radio show, which I do on a Sunday. It really helps me to be thrown into that world of recording and visual recordings opposed to the live arts. But there's nothing like being back live.
No, absolutely.
That first show back, I remember, and having the live audience and the applause, I think I just cried. It was just such an amazing moment just to be back doing it.
I know we've seen a lot of people who've kind of got up on stage for the first time, and you can tell the emotions kind of hit them. That
you feel like you've never done it before. It's really quite scary. It really is. And you've been doing it for years, but it suddenly feels like your first gig all over again, which is lovely because it makes everything very fresh again.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, just going back then to the beginning. What was your ambition when you started out? And on that note, did you dream it would get to the point where you were a global superstar?
Oh, well, we're only just starting, let's face it. We're going to conquer the world, I hope. No, but my dream has always been to do theatre and live theatres. And it's
Right.
always been, the dream would be to have a run in Vegas, you know, to do amazing venues like Carnegie Hall in New York, to do the London Palladium, to have a run in the West End. I've always been a theatre kid. So every time I walk on a stage in a theatre, I'm living that dream, and it's just so wonderful, you know, the smoke and the mirrors and the lights. There's nothing quite like it. So I never dreamed it would be of my own show. I always thought I might be part of another show or part of a West End show. But so to be doing it with your name on the poster and your creative control and just all the bonkersness that I can get away with, you know, all my comedy, just talk to the audience. And the people that have seen my shows know that it goes on random tangents. No show is ever the same when the Voix in the building. So it's just so much fun to have that freedom. Yeah.
Just going back then, I mean, in terms of, you've talked about comedy, I mean, in terms of growing up, who were the comedians that had the biggest impact on you?
Oh, for me, I mean, I was brought up on watching, you know, your classics like your Fawlty Towers, you know, Hello, those sort of programs. They were always on, you know, there was only the 4 or 5 TV channels then, so they were always on. You all sat down and watched them as a family, your Les Dawsons, your Bruce Forsyth Generation Games. So I think I was really lucky with the comedians I had growing up with, were real comedians in their heyday, and I was really lucky enough to go and see Ken Dodd at the Blackpool Grand just before he passed away on one of his last shows, and that was just a masterclass of, you know, your audience will sit there till midnight if you are just delivering comedy gold after comedy gold. You know, there's no feeling of when is it going to end or when is it going to go, and I think that's amazing. So I've always been brought up by grafters and people that worked really hard at their skill, and I like to think that's why I've got to where I am today, because I love analysing the comedy and the jokes and the material.
Right. I was going to ask, is that an attribute you've kind of seen yourself, that kind of grafting to kind of get where you are?
Oh, totally. I mean, if you'd said to me a few years ago I'll be stood on stage doing stand-up comedy, I would have died. I would have said, there's no way I would have done that. I always would have thought it would have been singing and the costumes and all the fabulous entertainment. But to do the comedy is amazing, and I have been officially crowned the UK's funniest redhead now, which is amazing. I was crowned by last year's winner, Rick Astley, which was amazing. I thought he was never going to give it up. And you know, we've had an amazing time being on the road, you know, with that title and that accolade. And I'm spreading the joys and trying to empower people with the power of Le Voix tour. It's an amazing time.
Okay, brilliant. I mean, you've touched on one of the questions I was going to ask. You've been labelled the UK's funniest redhead. What makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, some of the fashion choices my audience choose to wear, quite frankly. I mean, honestly, I think when I look out at my audience, Dorothy Perkins has been picked clean. But no, they're wonderful. I like the fact that I like observational comedy. I like anything to do with what's happening live in the moment. That's why my tour shows are never the same, whether I'm playing York or whether I'm doing a West End show, whether I'm doing somewhere in America or Europe. Every show is arranged around what's happening in that room, who's in that room, where I am, and topical, local, regional information. And I love that. I love picking up the local newspapers and finding out, you know, the uproar because they've changed the wheelie bins from blue to purple, or there's been an uproar in a charity shop, or someone's had a fight with a neighbour over a privet hedge, and it's always just brilliant, and it always can only be said in that moment in that theatre, and that's what I love to do.
Do you think that's also a very British thing as well, isn't it?
Oh, very much. Oh, the Brits. We're the best people to laugh at. I mean, goodness me, the things we do are just making me die. You know, from the queuing at petrol stations to the panic buying toilet rolls when the pandemic didn't even have anything to do with needing to go to the toilet. You know, it's just comedy gold. We're a crazy breed.
Absolutely.
And I love it. And especially when you go around regionally, there's no two towns and no cities, even on this small island, that are the same.
Okay, where are your favourite places to go to?
Well, it's probably easy to tell my least favourite, but I won't do that to them. My favourite places, you know, I have some dream place I love to play. Norwich is a city that I always adore.
Okay.
My audience, they are as crazy as me. Right up to when I go to Manchester. Manchester has a great feeling about it. And of course, Brighton Theatre Royal was the theatre I played the last show to do before the pandemic, and I was the first show back. So I have a real fondness
connection to that place.
We've been through a journey together. Yeah, it's been lovely.
Okay, I mean, one of the things you've touched on your kind of musical influences. Who's your favourite diva to kind of pay tribute to?
You know, it's similar to my comedy, really. I adore women who have grafted for years and have really stood the test of time. So I'm drawn to your big divas, such as your Tina Turners and your Liza Minnellis and your all those people that can still do a show and they're in their 70s. I think that's amazing. And I think their music is international. And I think anyone, you know, Tina Turner, for example, that can have that level of international acclaim long before social media and the internet was born is a real success to how hard she's had to tour around to make her name international long before it was all about followers and likes and swipes. So
definitely.
Yeah, those people are just amazing. And I think their music stands the test of time, generation to generation. And that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
I mean, just on that subject, what were your early musical memories?
Well, I remember my first musical sort of introduction to the world of almost celebrity and concerts was my dad had a VHS tape of Barbra Streisand.
Right, okay.
I know that does raise a certain question about my dad. And I remember watching it. I didn't know anything about who she was or what it was like. And I remember thinking, how can one person get that level of reaction from all those people? And it was my first introduction, I think, to the world of celebrity and performing in theatre. And I remember sat there thinking, I want to do that. I want to be that woman. I want to get that amount of people in the palm of your hands, listening to every word and listening to your songs. And that was my first influence, really. So I still, whenever I watch that concert, are drawn back to that memory. I've got great memories of that. I was lucky enough to see Barbara live in Hyde Park.
Oh, wow.
Just before the pandemic, and I literally was an emotional mess. I think because I was such connection to that from such an early age. I remember the little child watching that would have been so in awe that she is on that stage. So yeah, that was my first memory.
Which kind of, my next question was going to be, which of your idols would you most like to collaborate with?
Oh, it's got to be Shirley Bassey. I mean, she's bonkers. You know, she's 90% glamour, 10% champagne. I love that woman. She's just like me. And I want to just do a big belty Bond song, you know, or just a big classic. I think it would be one of the only celebrities, I think, that would rival me with my glamorous costumes. And
absolutely.
Just to do anything with a Dane would be amazing. Maybe it might get me to a Dane. I'd like that.
I mean, you've mentioned Bond. I mean, if you could pick a Bond song that you could do, which one would you really like to make your own? With
the new Bond film, I think I'd like to release Bond's Delayed Forever instead of Diamonds Are Forever, because it was never released for months and months.
Oh, it was years, wasn't it?
Do that one. But what would it would have to be something like Goldfinger or one of those big trumpeting brass ones. Yeah, I'd love that.
Perfect. Well, we've kind of got onto a subject. We like to have it just for fun with our interviewees. We've changed it slightly to a quiz now. So what we thought was, I've dug out 5 different facts from 5 different divas. Just want to see how well you actually know your divas.
Oh my God, this is going to be really testing now.
It is, because some of these these are impressive, some of these. Right, so the first one, she's one of 4 actresses to have won both the Academy Award for Best Actress and the Razzie Award for Worst Actress.
Oh, wow. Oh God, that's awful. Cher?
Oh no, it was Liza Minnelli.
Oh, bless her. I'll give her that one.
Okay, the next one then. When she was a teenager, she was arrested for stealing a car.
Oh, gosh. I didn't know these. Gosh, you really are throwing people under the bus with this quiz, aren't you? Who was arrested for stealing a car? Judy Garland?
No, you got it right the first time. It was Cher.
No, Cher stole a car!
Yeah, as a teenager, according to the internet.
Wow.
Right, and this is a good one, this next one. She has her own highway named after her in Tennessee.
Her own Tennessee? That sounds like, it's not someone like Dolly Parton?
Tina Turner.
Oh my God, look, all the ones I thought it was, and I thought, oh no, that's a terrible quiz.
Okay, right, she recorded several songs in Italian. Some appeared on the album La Vita. And you've talked about her quite a lot.
Have I?
Yep.
La Vita. Shirley Bassey?
Correct.
Yes, I got one right.
Brilliant. And last question. In 1969, she was dating Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, but turned down his offer to marry her. Again, this is someone you've mentioned already.
Oh, is this Barbra Streisand?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you see, they've got the money. They're always trying to latch yourself onto that.
Brilliant. Okay, well, like I said, you've got the tour coming up. Have you got any message for fans that are coming out to see you?
Oh, well, listen, if you want to just have the best night you've had in a long time, book a ticket to see my show. And in the words of Jennifer Saunders, when she saw my show, wear thick pants because you'll wet yourself laughing.
Brilliant. Okay, perfect. I think that's a great way to end. I don't think we could end it on a better note.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been lovely to chat to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we'll get to one of the shows and catch up properly.
Yes, I'd love that. Thank you, my darling.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time.
All right, take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.